Hello and welcome to part 3 of the Revision Cloud series. There will be times when you will need to provide a revise and resubmit set to the customer. During these times, you may not get all the answers to your clouded items. If you can't track down the answers to the remaining clouds or any additional questions that you have, you may be asked to change what you can and resubmit with the remaining clouds or any new clouded information on the resubmittal shop drawing. This video will cover how to add additional sequences while providing revision information on some things, but not others. Please note that part 2 of the Revision Cloud series covers these steps in more detail. All right, so here's our case. We've got a very simple mezzanine that went out for approval. Had two clouds regarding the dimensions. One was asking the AOR to verify the 12-foot dimension, and the 23-foot dimension was left blank for anyone to answer at that point. So in addition, so we got this back, and the general contractor has answered the 23-foot dimension and said that's fine, we're good there. But the architect came back and said, that 12-foot dimension is really 13 feet now. And oh, by the way, we've added a continuous column that goes up to the roof that is in the floor system. So go ahead and incorporate that as well. All right, so here's our case. So first step is to remove any clouds that were okayed as is. All right, so I actually clouded these independently, created this independently. So this 23-foot dimension, since it was okayed as is, can just fall off. And the AOR came back and said, that 12-foot dimension is 13, and again, we have that column to address. So the next step now is to make the revisions you can with the information that you got back. Be sure to cloud your tags with either the revision tag or the RB note tag for any new clouds caused by the resubmittal. So I'm going to jump down to this lower layout here that shows the incorporated 13-foot dimension. Here's the continuous column. And by the way, we now have a 29-inch overspace here. And this is what we're going to cloud and ask the EOR to approve on the resubmittal. So first thing is that we need to, we've already got this 13-foot change here. We've added the delta to it, but this continuous column was also a change. Not a question for us at OFA, but it is a change. And I'm going to go ahead and cloud up and accept. And then I'm going to tag that immediately. And then change that tag to a revision tag. All right, moving on out. And I'm going to get rid of that leader. There we go. So now we are just indicating that there's a change there. And this 29-inch dimension, that's going to be a new cloud. So the first thing that we need to do when we know that we're going to have an additional cloud going on this resubmittal is that we want to create a new sequence. So come back into view and into your revisions dialog box here, and let's add an additional sequence. Be sure to wipe out any date information and description information and say OK. And now we're going to cloud this and add a note for the EOR to approve. All right. No. Right. Again, what you can see here is that note is single line text only. There wasn't a lot that I could do around the wording of that. So I am now going to bring that out so it's not overrunning a bunch of other stuff. The thing that I want to point out is that new cloud that I added for this needs to be tied to sequence 2, where these other clouds are actually still tied to sequence 1. And this is important for this next step. So we've got our cleanup here, and we've got an additional question. Now the last step that we need to do is go back into view, into our revisions, and we're going to change the sequence 1 Back to numbering. These are changes now. Put in your date information. Put in a description. And then your initials. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to change from cloud and tag to tags only on sequence 1. And when we do that, what you're going to see is that the clouds that were on the initial OFA are gone. We've got deltas where there are changes. And then we have an additional cloud for the EOR to approve of this overspace. How that looks on our title block now, because of these steps, looks like this. So we've got our title block actually displaying the things that we did revise in sequence 1, but no information regarding the cloud tied to sequence 2. And that's how we address a revise and resubmit with additional clouds. This concludes the video series on revision clouds. Happy modeling.